Hello viewer and welcome to the e-learning classroom. So today we want to know why most students are failing in physics, or why most students are finding performance in physics to be very difficult. So you realize that most students have been failing in physics, and at times you find that most students actually have been dropping physics, whereas we all know that physics is a very essential subject in real life and also in terms of career. So today we'll be looking at what are the 10 ways that you can do or the 10 steps that you can take in order to perform in physics. So number one, understand concepts. Understand concepts. Memorizing in physics is important, but understanding is very vital. So that means you cannot pass in physics if you don't take time to understand the concepts. Then number two, link every question to a scientific concept. Link every question to a scientific concept or a topic of study, and that means before you answer any question, you must understand which topic is being tested and which concept of that topic are they testing. And in that case, it's also important to note that this one also applies in application questions, or these are the questions that require the use of scientific concepts. Number three, embrace calculations or mathematics, if we can say so. Embrace the calculations. And it's important to know that all physicists are mathematicians. So it's not possible to alienate physics from mathematics. It's not possible to alienate physics from mathematics. And by that, it's also important to know that don't copy paste the answers from the calculator. Don't copy paste the answers you get from the calculators, but also ensure that you give the answer in accordance to the rules. Number four, summarize the formulas for quantities that have more than one formula. Summarize the formulae for quantities that have more than one formula. For example, we have energy, formulas for energy, which has more than 20 formulas in high school physics. Heat, power, pressure, force, etc. So ensure that you have the summary of all these formulae. It's important to know that in physics, the formula to use depends on what you are given, the constants you have been given in the question. These are what guides you in order to know which formula you shall use. And that's why we are saying that you must understand the summary of all the formulae so that you can relate the formulae to what you have been given in the question. So let's go to the next one, number five. Ensure you pass on physics practical. Ensure you pass on physics practical, and that means it's practically impossible to pass in physics if you are failing physics practical. It's not possible to pass in physics, and that's why we are saying now ensure you have passed in practical. And how do you pass on practical? Passing depends on first of all doing a lot of them in order to gain first-hand experience, and also focusing on rules. Remember, practical has its own rules, and also especially touching on accuracy and also the significant figures. So the next point, number six, ensure you have complete notes. Ensure you have complete notes, and if possible, also attend all the lessons. Number seven, focus on topics of study and note the entire subject or the paper. Focus on topics. For example, we have quantity of heat, we have gas laws. Focus on topics, individual topics. In other words, you'd rather read one topic and ensure you don't fail any question on that topic rather than reading 10 topics of which you don't understand any of them. So focus on every topic and ensure that you can score at least everything in that topic. Number eight, sketch diagrams of questions that require a mental picture. There's some questions in physics where you're required to describe something or to solve something, whereas you've been given a paragraph of a question which requires you to build up a mental picture for you to solve that question. So most of the time, you'd rather sketch that diagram. You'd rather sketch so that you don't skip any important component of that question, and that touches on various areas where you require that kind of a picture. Number 9, memorize the laws, rules, principles, and definitions. So memorize the laws, rules, principles, and definitions. In other words, take them as they are in textbooks. Lastly, number 10, always read in advance. Prepare before the examinations and also use the available resources effectively. So with that, you'll be able to demystify physics and also to excel in physics. So that marks the end of that session. Wish you all the best. Thank you.